Good evening and welcome to Surrounded by Water podcast. My name is Colin Campbell and I'm a totally exasperated Spurs season ticket holder living in Dromahole in Northern Ireland. And my colleague Paul, how are you, Paul, tonight?
I'm good, Colin. Thank you. We were meant to be having an Irish League episode tonight. I got a message from Chris earlier on today to apologise, but he will be with us in the future. So we'll just batter on with a bit of a chit chat about the Premiership, maybe talk about Man City and the emerging games coming tomorrow and at the weekend. So there's loads to talk about anyway.
Okay, well, as we normally kick off with a Paul's Puzzler, do you have one for us this week?
Yep. Which of these teams were not part of the inaugural Premier League season? Nottingham Forest, Oldham Athletic, Newcastle, or Man City? Which of these teams were not a part of the inaugural Premier League season? Forest,
okay,
Oldham, or City?
Sense maybe a trick in there. I'll have to think about that. Good question, sir. Good question.
All right,
okay, hopefully it'll get you thinking. Look, this podcast is for everyone. We do focus on Irish fans, north and south, of teams in England of any division. But we want to cover a range of topics too that are worth chatting about. Please join us. We enjoy your comments. We enjoy your input. That's why we're here. And certainly if you want to join us for an evening, please do. We want to see all our teams represented. Everton, Arsenal, City, for example. Plus teams further down the league. You know, football is a world thing, not just top six in the Premiership. So there we go. Okay, an interesting puzzler. Right, Paul, the weekend review and emerging issues. What for you stood out? And then you can tell us about your own diary as well. At your
I went to you're saying it's not all of it being in the top six, but it is nice to be in the top six.
I imagine.
Yeah. Well, you've had more of it than I have over the years. Forest. I went to the Forest game. I'll play the wee timeline thing I done earlier. I'll talk about the game first. Basically, pitched up at the game. Lovely, dry day. We had a pleasant day, cold but very nice day for the game. I was in line with the defence of the team and was able to see the structure. And up until now, I've been raving about the Milinkovic and Murillo. Although Rosario did say to me at the match, "Who's that number 5?" And I said, "That's Murillo." And she even seen that he was solid player. He had 100% record the other night in tackles and clearances. So he is. But everybody else in the team seems to be where they're meant to be. And I really can struggle to see how a team would penetrate, how we get through, unless they come with a plan that counteracts it. I don't see how they're going to do it. Now, tomorrow night, I'm going to repeat exactly what you said last week or the week before. If Man City come like a wounded animal tomorrow night, they're going to destroy us, or we go to them and they're going to destroy us. But I hope we have got them before they get to that stage, and that they're still a wounded animal and unable to take care of us. But the game was good. We had the first half was basically nothing. It was counterplay, but we got a penalty after the start of the second half, and I actually took a video of the video as well. So I'll play the timeline, and if that's all right with you, and we'll listen to that and see how we go.
Right, just to clarify,
on the go,
your wife.
One plane, 2 trains, and we're now in Nottingham for the match tomorrow, Ipswich Town. You Reds! Guys, I'm standing on Trent Bridge here, Saturday morning of the game. Forest against Ipswich Town. The Roars are out on the Trent, right beside the world famous City ground. Has to be the best location for any football ground in the Premiership. Having a beer, just ready to go. Half an hour to kick off. Team's just been announced. Morgan gives White and Anderson playing.
Was that you singing?
No. Forest 1-0. Come on, you boys in red. So I have an extended version of that. I'll clip it up and put it on YouTube the same as I did with Derek's. The penalty was straight up the middle. Chris Wood, once again, scored the goal, done the business, pleasure doing business. Yep, very good. Happy days. Good result.
What was
your
penalty? Oh, sorry, I just
Sorry?
said, was it a penalty? Was it a penalty?
There's actually 2 penalty calls. One was at the first, that one, which I didn't get a clear view of it. I watched it afterwards, probably 50-50. There was one in the second half, latterly on, that I would have said definitely was a penalty. But anyway, who knows?
Okay,
we've had enough of the poor rub of the green. We'll take the rub of the green that goes for us.
Sure. Yeah, well, you had your opinions about the Luton match, whatever it was, so that's maybe going your way. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Just for those of us, we'll try to provide some information on travel and going over. I take it did you fly from Cork?
Flew from Cork to Manchester, train down.
How long did that take?
It's the plane. There's 2 trains. Quick change. It's about 2 hours from Manchester down to Nottingham, and then on the way back, we flew back from Birmingham. It was about an hour and 20 up in the train, and the flights. Thankfully, everyone was on time. As you can hear, I'm in a relapse of this nasal thing. So anyway, such is life. One of them things. But no, worthwhile weekend. 3 points. How did your weekend go, football wise?
Well, I think up and down as always. There's an ongoing debate with amongst Tottenham fans about where we actually are. There are probably 2 groups. One group thinks Ange's great, Ange's ball's great, and we're on the right track. And if you're unhappy, you'll go and support somebody else, kind of thing. There are those of us, and I'm in this group, who feel that from the top down, it's not good enough. I've said this before. Side injuries and so on. Every team can, but there are levels of performance and levels of determination that I think Tottenham aren't reaching. Now, in terms of the immediate time, in terms of matches now coming up and all that, team will do as good as it can. I love them, support them. I'm terribly emotionally invested in the whole thing, and that's why it matters. But in the long term, I think a new owner who really wants to win trophies is what we need. I don't care about. I don't care. On balance, the ground and the training. I've been through it all before. Are all fine, but they should be a means to an end, and the end isn't the profit sheet, the balance sheet. The end is winning things or being genuinely in contention, and frankly, we're not. And for a top 6 club with such a massive support, it just ain't good enough, No offence to Fulham, no offence to Ipswich, no offence to Crystal Palace, for example, and I'm not going to offend, but those are teams that are Spurs are serious that they should be beating, I mean, people watch TV, they watch Match of the Day. I don't want to insult their intelligence. If you're interested, you will have seen the game. On balance, I think Fulham bossed more of it than we did. And it's very dispiriting. After the nowhere victory over City, which maybe now we'll have a better perspective on that, given City's performances, to fall down again is genuinely disappointing. So we'll look at shortly. We'll look ahead, and a few things to say about that. In terms of probably the rest of the weekend, some big things.
Colin, before we move on to that, I was asked a question.
Yeah.
I was asked a question to ask you. When you previously talked about Levy and the whole situation, and somebody said to me, "They appreciate your points, and they take your points very honestly. They appreciate your honesty in the whole matter."
Okay.
But would you rather be where you were before Levy or where you are now with Levy?
I think it's a good question, but it's the kind of question you say, would you rather lose your eyesight or your hearing, or would you rather lose your arm or your leg? I see it that way. What I am saying is that Enoch and Levy have had, oh Jesus, over 20 years, 20 years, and they've won one League Cup. Now, would I rather, and prior to that, under Sugar, would won one League Cup. So they've had 20 years to do a lot more. Abramovich came into Chelsea, and I don't even think it took him 20 months.
Mhm.
So I can answer that, and I can't answer by not answering it. I understand the point of the question, but what I'm doing is talking to Rebecca that in 20 years, there should have been a lot more. I really do.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
the answer to that. And that is my point. I'm not getting any younger. And I would like to see a wee bit more. For me, there are Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, City fans, United fans, Liverpool fans, Leeds fans. God sake, I think even Swansea have won a trophy since Spurs did. So, there's some terrible Leicester. There's some. I just think there's something badly wrong.
Yeah.
And I've said before, £260 million forwards does not £100 forward making.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's my opinion. It's based on quite a lot of experience, I have to say. It's based on, once or twice a month, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to travel, and that's why I ask about the journeys people make to get there and get back. It's tiring. Other people are put out by it. And it's not as if we expect to win every single game. I would never probably even want to be emotionally in that position. People, their team wins every week. I'm not sure how exciting that is either. I admired Pablo came on, the Real fan, and he seemed enthused about that. But you want to see your team play close to their potential as often as they possibly can. And the atmosphere with Spurs is the Spursy, name they get, deserve it. Apart from under a long period of Pochettino, if there were 2 minutes left, you'd expect Spurs to give a goal away. If they go one up, you expect the other team to equalise. Why is that? That is a culture. That is something that's ground in, and the players change, the manager change, but it's still there.
No, and I completely take your point, because last year we had the most conceded goals from a set piece, and most of them were from corners than any other team in the league. And this year it stopped. Now, this year I am confident that we're not going to give away silly goals. There'll be an exception to that rule somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I felt satisfied after we get that penalty. By the way, Ipswich Town were wasting time from 3 minutes in. 3 minutes in, they were messing about at the back, so they came looking for a point, and they it was shocking. But I will say the fans were exceptional. The tractor boys, they were singing their hearts out, which is great to hear, and you have to give them credit. They were great fans. They came. They were good fun. There was a bit of banter between us, back and forward, the usual old stuff, EIEIO and all that stuff for the farmers and stuff. It was good, but they were great fans and well received. And thankfully, they went home with absolutely nothing.
That's lovely.
And I can see them get the potential to be a good team. But we set up properly. The other issues in the league. Sorry, I took you away from that. The other issues in the league.
No. I mean, obviously, well, talking about the football side of it, I think they were probably looked like the right player again. I'll talk about Guardiola later on. I have a few points I'd like to make it under note of concern. But I think that teams now want to give up, aren't afraid anymore. I think very quickly, really, when you think of 6 games, but 7 games, or it's only those few games where the cloak of invincibility seems to have certainly fallen away. Liverpool, at the minute, look to business, and I think they've created an expectation. And it would be interesting, and maybe we'll hear later in the season, but is it possible that Slot's going to have after 1 year, won as many championships as Klopp did,
Yeah.
because that's what it will be, one each.
Yeah.
Interesting. Had you any views on, or did you get a chance to see how United were doing, or hear about that in terms of the new
I
era?
didn't.
No.
I'd be honest with you. I've seen little or no football since
Yeah.
I get back. I haven't been well since I get back. I had a bug, and I took to my bed, and I basically got up yesterday evening. So I haven't seen any football. I've flicked through
Well,
results,
okay.
etc. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it
as
was.
I say, go ahead. Sorry, I
Yeah.
beg your pardon.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, as I say, I think that I don't want to tell people what happened kick for kick. They watch it themselves. What we try to do is maybe take an angle on the thing and see if that's enlightening. I was disappointed with Everton. I think Amarin may be on to something, but it remains to be seen. And he's a good chance here. There's a few games coming up to get a bit of momentum. I think what every manager needs is momentum, and that's what Spurs are painfully short of. No momentum. That's my irritation. But he may get this going together, and that'll be interesting for them. Quite what whether quietly they're looking at a top 4 place, it's hard to know. So they're certainly trying to play their way out of it.
Yeah.
Arsenal, I think. I watched. I commented on West Ham last week, and I thought they stuck to their brief brilliantly and looked confident, and I thought they deserved a win against Newcastle. Who the heck that team that came out to play Arsenal was, I'm not sure. They seem to be the team that didn't go to Newcastle because it was poor. I think they were able to. Arsenal were able to walk through them. A very, very good away win for Arsenal. It has to be said. And they do look better with Odegaard back, and they just look to have that sense of purpose and expectation.
Yeah.
Some of the other things, there's always some to talk about. The interesting thing will be that Leicester City, in order to avoid relegation, because that's what it's about, have dispensed with a manager with quite a lot of years of experience in England and managing an England team, junior team, and in the Premiership, and have taken on somebody who doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Peculiar decision. For me, it's a very peculiar decision. Is no track record. Is literally when we were on last week, he was just about to be appointed, or he had been. The rumours had filtered through. He would be appointed on the Wednesday morning, and they were talking about it on the radio the next day, and they were saying, like, why is he being appointed? He is nothing. He played for United. He managed them for 4 games. He didn't get beat. That was it. He didn't. Like,
the joke, Paul. 2 of those games were against Leicester.
Yeah.
One in the Carabao Cup, the League Cup, as I call it, and one in the league. So it's a bit strange to say the least. No, I think these show business appointments, as I call them, I'm wary of them. I'm old guard. I'm old school, unashamedly. I think that there is a skill, there's a skill set to managing people, and then after that, I think there's a bit of luck and a bit of myth. But it's no surprise to me that Wayne Rooney, not to change the subject, to make the point, is under terrific strain at Plymouth Argyle. And I wonder, I mean, I would like Rude to do what, Leicester have never offended. Well, they have actually winning the league that year, but, they're a team that I couldn't dislike. And I hope he does well. But I'll be surprised, to come into a team that's struggling. There can be 2 things. You can get the bounce, as you referred to before, where, they win a couple of games based on the fact that it's just a change, or they can be in trouble right away. And tonight is a big night for them. Big night for a few teams. Have you got
Who's Leicester got this weekend? I haven't even looked at that.
Well, tonight
West Ham, very interesting.
West Ham. It's probably a good time to play West Ham, or is it? Depends what West Ham turns up. West Ham aren't out of trouble themselves. They're going to be awfully silly about this. Crystal Palace and Ipswich, a battle of, stand up. And both teams there. I think Palace are marginally more equipped to stay up.
Brighton as well followed. So West Ham, Brighton, 2 tough games to start with. Two very tough
They
games to
are,
start with.
Brighton, the interesting thing about Brighton is that they lost Potter, and where's he now? They lost Deserby, who, to all intents and purposes, I'm not sure just how well you would say he's doing at Marseille. So this other guy comes in, and they're still up there. They were probably disappointed with the draw with Southampton when all said and done, but they're up there and they're doing well. And fair play to them. Very happy about that myself. In terms
So
of
just while I've got
yeah,
them up, Colin, tell me now.
yeah,
Bournemouth, you're away to Bournemouth and away to Chelsea, is that right?
no, home to Chelsea, but that doesn't
Chelsea's
matter.
probably
We'll
going to
lose.
that
It
game,
doesn't
that's
matter
right.
where
Yeah.
we are, but we'll lose anyway.
Will you?
Yeah. In fact, earlier on, I couldn't help thinking when you said that you were sitting in the City ground, you're in line with your own defence. For me to be in line with my own defence, Spurs probably means I'm not at the match.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just feel that way. Bournemouth are no dozers. I predicted them to go down. I hope to be wrong. They're no dozers at all. They have a few good. They beat Arsenal and they beat City. And then we'll go to Chelsea. Well, we always lose to Chelsea, so that's a shame. So it's feasible. It's possible the Spurs will have no points over those two games. Then on the horizon, there's Liverpool at home, Forest away. Blah blah blah. So anyway, enough about Spurs. I think the league, the league table's taking shape, and some of the teams at the bottom are getting anchored there, and that'll be difficult. Wolves had a good win and then a crushing defeat. I think it was a crushing defeat, and the people who don't think Gary O'Neill knows what he's doing, and vocal again, and they will have some big games coming up.
I think Wolves. There was a couple of things come out of that game. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I want to check something on the Wolves. 3 penalties in the first half. Is that right?
I think it was. Yeah.
Which is a record. I think that's a record. 3 penalties in one match. I think.
I think it was the first hat trick. I think the first hat trick of penalties. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So
what can you do?
Yeah. I know, but they threw it away as well. It was crazy stuff. But this time last year, it was April. I think I'm right in saying it was April the 22nd before we got to 21 points, and we're sitting at 21 points now after 13, 14 games.
World of difference can be done.
There's that is the world of difference, and that's not luck because we've played the Chelseas, we played the bigger teams as well.
Yeah,
we've a tight weekend coming here with Man City tomorrow night and with Man United on the weekend. So we'll just wait and see how that all bags out, But
Manchester Derby,
they maybe just can't pop into Manchester. Yeah, I don't know how we'll do from that.
Well, it also it's either a good or a bad time to get them. I do feel United will pick up a bit. I think there's some decent players there, and maybe whatever it is about players nowadays, it's probably hard for certain managers to motivate 20-year-old multimillionaires. You can't get them the project, like Leicester. The rumours that some players just withdrew their labour, but this guy has a chance, and we'll see how they go. Interestingly, to me anyway, I've read that Radcliffe already has won the disdain of some United fans by some of his off-the-field decisions. Ticket prices, Alex Ferguson.
But that's four supporters, team supporters gone together about the price of tickets. Like whenever you see Liverpool and Man United converging together, along with 2 other clubs to complain collectively about the price, the cost of their season tickets and access to get into games. It is crazy when you 60 quid for a child to get to see a game of football. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things. I mean, there are people who go once a year, maybe once or twice a year, for a birthday present or Christmas present, and I applaud that. They don't really care because it's a gift anyway. The people who are going every other week and the people who are going every other week with their families, I don't know how to do it. Really don't. And drive people out of football. There's nothing like a live game. You know that. I know that. It's
Yeah.
just superb. But
Yeah.
it also, you know, you want to have the local community. You can afford to go there along the German model. And you know, there can be enough bought at the ground on the day. And there's enough money coming in from other sources to mean that I think entrance to the ground should be cheaper. And it's the atmosphere. I think what is wonderful, maybe not unique. Germany's pretty good, but the atmosphere at the English League games is superb, you know. And they'll muck about with that by, you know, it's the crowd who make it. Jock Stein, allegedly, Scotland's selling manager, says, in front of a big crowd, a good pass becomes a great pass.
Yeah.
And I think that that's true.
It is true. Of course it is.
So
Very much true. Very true. Very true.
What we're saying is, I think from what we were talking about, we think the table's taking shape, top, middle, bottom. Forest and Spurs look condemned to be in the middle, frankly. And some teams are already digging the whole way back down to the
I have a feeling our purple patch will be over soon. I think we've a couple of defeats, or I think we'll slip backwards a wee bit.
Yeah, well, look, what you said was very telling. That you know, the point that took you to April to get 21 points, whatever it was, last season, and you've got them already. So you know, you should be safe from relegation. I'm not so confident about my own team. So you're frozen a bit, but I'll go on. Looking ahead, and maybe focusing a little bit on the race to win the darn thing. The next two games for Liverpool are Newcastle away and Everton away. So our Liverpool predictor last 2 weeks ago, I think we're 2 wins. I predict 2 wins. I don't think Pool at their minute. I don't think Newcastle or Everton have enough. Arsenal are at home to Man United and away to Fulham. And it's hard to call the first one. I do think Arsenal will beat United, and I think they'll beat Fulham. So we are where we are. And City, home to Forest, as we've heard, and Palace away. You know, go down those
apologies. These technical issues are starting to become embarrassing now at this stage. My apologies. Yeah, it's. I was just saying that I think our purple patch is nearly over, and I think that I think Man United is going to kick on now. I think that, as you say about Amarin, he's got a lot of talent to play with there. I think he's going to push on.
Yeah.
We'll just wait and see. I think my mates, you've always said it, loads of other people have always said it, really the time to look at it is around Christmas. The game's around Christmas. Once Christmas is over, 1st of January, where we all stand, that's basically, you've got a real look at what the league's like. Most of the games, that's halfway almost, you know.
Well, you know, for the first 2 of each, as a predictor, I think Pool are going to win both theirs. Arsenal are going to win both theirs. United, I think they'll beat United. And I think they'll beat Fulham, even though away. And I think City, I have a funny feeling City are going to beat Forest. I'm sorry. And Palace.
Yeah.
What's that based on? It's got to change sometime. And I just think it might be, you know, almost out of the blue, you know.
Yeah.
So I think what that means is that the top 3 will be the top 3 heading into Christmas.
Yeah.
Whatever order they are. Coming under that, I think Chelsea don't want to be taken seriously for the league, but geez, I think they are. We talked about them early in the season. As I feared, they've come good earlier than I wanted. I would like them to have come good this March, but they are really nailing on a top 4 finish there. So anyway, that's
Jackson scored goals for fun. I think the Chelsea have a great chance, and you know Liverpool are guaranteed to win every game.
No, they're not. I think win the next 2. And then you know, it was predicted 2 weeks ago. They'll get a lot of points. Which Spurs will turn up against them, I do not know. But I think the next weekend the top 3 will be as it is. I think also the bottom 3 will be as it is, and the rest, well, sure, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe moving on to this we call note of concern. We always find something maybe is an issue, not usually not necessarily a positive one. Something struck me, Paul, notwithstanding the result for City or the performance, was actually the performance, if you will, of Pep Guardiola. Now, I'm sort of saying, is the veneer cracking? There were quite a few photographs and video coverage of his putting his hands up to show six, which are the
Yeah.
6 championships that he has won with City in the last 7 years. Now, so what? Bit of fun, yeah, of course it is. What does it symbolize? Does it signify anything? Maybe for the first time, it's getting to him. He was always above that. He had this wonderfully, presidential, ambassadorial approach to everything. It seemed everything he turned his hand to was wonderful. On further analysis, maybe not quite so. I don't think he got the Champions League with Bayern. But having said that, I have a lot of time for him. I've watched how he has brought in players and changed them. Kyle Walker for one, Stones for another. Some of the midfielders that he has coached them into playing in a different, usually a better way. I admire that because not only has he bought big, but he's made big changes. I don't have a historical dislike of Man City, so I always
Neither
thought they
do
were
I.
doing okay. But wonder what's happening there. Six defeats, whatever it is. For a lot of people, that would be. He isn't. He's under no danger at all, nor should he be.
I know
Of
that. I
course,
know that.
that would be nonsense. But I do wonder, is there just a slight crack in the veneer? He's really going to have to coach this team. And people will be sitting back and watching to see what happens over the next 2 games, at least, and beyond. Now, I've predicted him to win these 2 games, or to City to win. You know what I mean? But
Colin,
it will be
I'm more interested in what's caused the crack in the veneer. I'm more interested in what has brought about this change in this ruthless, powerful team that can walk all over everybody, and all of a sudden they can't. And I'm going to. All the radio stations are talking about different reasons. Is it a case that this court case has come to a conclusion? Before it came to a conclusion, it filtered down that there's a problem. There is a problem, and the fans are going, if we're relegated, I don't want to be here. And all of a sudden, this starts this snowball effect that everybody's not talking about winning anymore, but they're talking about what's going to happen if they're relegated. Or is it something else? I'm not scaremongering. I'm basically asking the question: what's caused it? But something has caused it. Something has brought about this change. It's not just a flick of a switch that something happens that goes like that. Now, momentum is everything. And negative momentum is also something that if you start to lose, you can continue to lose. But him reacting that way to the fans tells me that they get under his skin, or he's just a wee bit sore about something, or a wee bit edgy about something. And because don't forget, he said, the minute I find out something illegal has been done here, I will leave. If something has been done according to the rules, I will leave.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's up to him. That's up to him. But I mean, he signed a new contract. He, to all intents and purposes, will be there for the next 3 years or so. I would imagine he intends to win trophies in that period. And City's hierarchy would want them to. There could be some going on in the background, but I would like to think that he would be able to park that and keep himself, his backroom staff, and the players focused on what they met there to do, which is to win matches, play good football.
Well, I hope they don't do it. I hope they don't do it until Thursday morning. Just
I know that.
Get our game over.
Well, I'm not putting you one way or the other, but I do have a feeling that they will turn up.
Kick back
tomorrow night because don't poke the bear, as I say. If they've wounded him, he'll not take such a casual hands-off approach, at the side.
No.
I think there'll be some heavy focus. And it will be very, very interesting.
It's a big weekend.
So my other concern is to say, it's to say that even the untouchables are touchable.
Yeah.
And I think part of a manager's success can be based on mythology. The story. There's legendary stories about Ferguson hairdryer. They're rounding up all the kids at a party, getting rid of certain players who were never going to adhere to what he said.
Yeah, I heard
so all of those things. there were great sayings by great managers, the Shankies, the Nicholsons, Catterick, Busby, and so on. Some of it's mythology, legend and mythology. Mourinho was creating that for himself, trying to create it, the special one. He made remarks, about other managers and things. So he created something around himself. And usually it's about being unbeatable. Okay. And for a period of time, all those teams were.
Yeah.
But, and probably Alex was lucky that the big money wasn't in with some of the other teams. He was playing against Arsenal. Liverpool weren't strong for periods of time when he was there. Whereas it's different now. I think Pep created that. But I also think that sometimes the egg can go out of the balloon very easily.
Yeah.
And for some reason, teams I think that can play against City and beat them. And they're doing that. So he needs to rise to that. The team need to rise to that and see that as a greater challenge to prove themselves, each and every one of them as individuals, and as a team. And that'll be interesting. And I wish we could do that too.
Well, just before I give you the answer to the puzzle, I think we'll get 2 points in 2 games. I think we can get a draw at both games, and I hope we can get a victory at one. So I'm saying 2 or 4 points at the Manchester games.
Okay, I would drink to that. I think we'll get 0.
Okay.
And everyone's going to, Spurs fans are going to, what's that out loud on? I just, I'm here to try to say what I think, express how I feel. But this isn't the medium for we're going to win a rematch. You've got to say, in all honesty, what I do think or where we are at the minute.
The reason I'm saying that is, I think
you don't want to hear me.
The reason I'm saying that about Forest, Cole, is that I feel we've got a wee bit of momentum. I think we've got strategy. I think everybody knows where they need to be, and I think they're doing it at the moment. And I think that there are other teams that are vulnerable. I don't think by any means Man United have sorted out their problems yet. Man City definitely have problems. Maybe it's a good time to be playing them. Maybe you've played them at the perfect time, and maybe we're not playing them at the perfect time. Who knows? We'll wait and see.
Well, we'll see. I predicted, City getting it on us, but they didn't. One thing, I read body language, and so on and so forth, and watching Nuno walk off the pitch, the footage, applauding the supporters and all that, and he looked like a man, for whom the plan had worked. And I think he's probably thinking, how do we blip there? But we're back on course, and that impressed me.
Well, he made a comment. He made a comment the other night, and the comment was clean sheets. He wants clean sheets at all costs. He wants clean sheets. I
admire that. Well,
so if you've got a clean sheet, at all costs, you'd either get 3 points or 1 point.
Well, you're not losing. That's good.
Yeah. So
okay, the answer to your puzzle.
That's what the puzzle is.
I'm going to guess Man City.
Yep.
I'm going to guess Man City.
You're going to guess Man City.
Yeah. Strangely.
Newcastle.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, actually, I'm thinking of the. That's right. I'm thinking of the Keegan here, but that came a wee bit after that. Yeah. Very good. Good question, sir.
So I was. Right. I actually said the same thing. Man City. I thought it was Man City as well. So it wasn't. Yeah. It was Newcastle United. Anyway, that was a quiet enough episode. Once again, it was we had to change things, but I understand how life gets in the way of these things. And but anyway, I enjoyed the chat, Colin. And we'll try and get back onto the routine that we're reporting, and see if we can get back into the schedule again and keep it moving.
All right.
There we go. So that's
we've got plenty to talk about next week, and for all of us here, we'll probably a couple of matches tonight, some tomorrow night, and some Thursday night. So good luck, everyone. I hope your teams do well. Not everyone will, but I hope your teams do well. I'm hoping to see you back here and separated by water next week.
Perfect. Take care, guys. Everybody stay safe. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Stay safe.